I may be a bunny, but I ain't some boing bitch with exploding tits and enormous hips, moistening my lips. But I do hoist sails on ships that carry boys in the whip, and the choice to get it by anointed schizophrenic. I'm coy with my lettuce. Gotta get them coins in that bread, bitch. Rubbing my loins is my fetish. Make a point and maybe I'll let it become anointed with the beverages. Are you zoning in for a reference? All I see are dorky dicks. Rather be with a Mexican, even though they're already totally relished in all my joints and medicine, meant for the roid settling in. 'Cause I ain't your toy, I bet I'm him. The Antichrist joined us. He brought phlegm to the brim. Now he's joisting for femdom, or they won't rejoice his dick. I can't afford to let him down, but man, he's making me sick. Yo, estoy prima donna. They wanna blend in with my flicks. With their joystick rattling. This shit ain't primitive. So I get joygasms every time I spit. And they remotely gather slim increments of my eroding laughter, 'cause I hate kids. Don't want their ploys and umpteenth chapters to become hideous. But I'm really rumbling with bastards, and I've had enough of it. It's crumbling to tatters because you want to suck a tit, but really you're just bumbling for a master's tongue tip to lunge into your chasms full of jizz. And I ain't wondering what comes out them. I know they're all hicks. So give me a blumpkin from a tattler, and maybe I'll get rid of the piss. That they throw under the lather of the shower spritz. You think that Tumblr went backwards, but they're still tickling ribs. Unlike the water that I oughta shun you from has become undone from dung and hung over penis crud. And of course, lunge after it's turned to dust. And they wanna boil it until it's annoyed as shit and starts coiling within to not soil it. What they're trying to coerce with. They want the bubbles to splurge when you dip the hot dog in. They brought Olsen to cook something that looks like a cock or a dong in some primitive way. Fire should be dismayed from all play. Take it to a place where there's no grace, and I bet he'll taste a little more fragrant, and he'll change so the rapists don't display their dicks. He'll just savor it in his cave pit with mayonnaise dip. It's called getting filleted, bitch, because you were naked in front of kids and no one wants to hate it forever. They want to get clever and make sure the endeavor doesn't sever their brethren. So you're pretty much slitting your wrists every time you want to get with kids. No matter how pretty, you'll just be sitting in hell without one southern belle to tell you the trail has come to an end, and you better make amends somehow before you become a cash cow for some subterranean human lashing out. On your casket plow, and putting a mask on and letting out a foul stench at your funeral. Then he'll bow and wince, and he'll think he's cute as fuck, and a brow will get queued up. They'll say, how did this distinction of a man get so ludicrous? And ludicrous, keep me out of it, ho. I'll blow through your dough with a fofo. I ain't a clone. I'm a saint down to the bone. And we'll say, do you paint pictures or photos? And he said, no, I can't. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Bo, Joe. Mojo, Mumbo Jumbo. And then they fumble for what's it called? The arrow that goes through the hearts of these bozos and keeps them froze away from the ones who know that my flow exposes these germs that accumulate my dome and take all my pros home and try to buy clothes and give it to my foes. Eat everything I wrote, everything I spoke. And I quote, I'm jonesing for a logo. Who wanna go there with the one and only Dojo Mogul? Don't give a fuck about a Doja Cat. She can't even rap. She just relax all day on her laptop and map out a plan for her ass to get slapped by every man she can until she land in the hands of someone driving a Lambo or a Caddy. She still got a fatty, but it can't be complete without my magical leaks. She thinks she can build a habitat from the feet down of my gladly received patterns from the neat who want to keep me fathomed and on beat before they grab at my peaks. Once again, I'm hunting friends, 'cause their cunts depend on the runts who wrench me out like a cum dispenser. I'm rupturing health. I'm trying to cover my wealth before the stuff gets dispelled. I'm wondering about the best, what I keep in my chest, how it never gets relented, and how I keep it fresh. You know I am on a quest, and I won't put down my defense, because I have to depend on it to keep trending. Like lemonade on a hot day. You got it, babe. Plop right down, take a seat in the shade. My blonde hair sways, 'cause my top ain't just a phase. Stocking up on locks, amazing. I still give a flock about the shame, but it ain't in me smoking pot, that's just a game. I got the crop on the flame, and I don't pay guap for it. I remain sloppy fur before they can tame my oculars daze into the popular ways of a hot girl who can sashay trapped toward Hades and you got a Glock in your face? Don't he demonstrate that darkness in his base? I know you wanted to be graced, but you ain't the gauntlet from which he tastes what he bought with sense back in his day. But the monotony don't pay. His jotting hasn't become a phase. He's actually proving they're rotten in every case. So I got a spot for him that don't leave a trace of his optimum gayness for what I drop on these lames. Could get a whole SWAT team to come in and tase, but they got me feeling responsible, which I hate. They're singing that gospel. They want me to chase them out of the hospital, out of your grave. I say it's impossible for you to come on my wave when I've already toppled them all, while you just try to ingrain all your thoughts right down to the skull in my brain, because you think I taught the ball to go straight. It's quite tropical and it might rain. Gotta get going home to stop this pain. Watching waterfalls forming drains. It's like they're stopping roll call for all the heroes' veins. Believed monsters would save my comparable enslavement, but they're just cock and balls all the same, trying to rock the hall where Biggie lays. These mongrels need spayed. Quit passing on my DNA. I hope lava pulls you into every age, and it's so hot you go, am I a flame? And I say no, you're in a pot of noodles. You're making them obey with your water power so brutal. It turns hard things into mache. Stop gargling your tooth holes. It's already May. Pardon me, toots. Do you wanna go get laid? Sorry, my goo hole is already made. Damn, you look new, not old. Sorry, I was confused. I'll keep my goo hole buried. I could screw to Sue and Sherry, but Sherry don't like Sue. Sherry is declaring Sue a doofus. She keeps staring and it's useless. They're trying to be pairing their Bluetooth on the bus, and Sue knew that the Bluetooth speaker was being hooked up to one that didn't belong to either of them. So they lifted up their beavers and sat near the back of the bus. Suddenly the track conducted, and they were thwacking each other on the butt. They were being ratchet thugs. They cranked up the bass. Their eyes were wide with the ecstasy some guy provided them. Sit next to me and cry 'cause you're too shy to glide through your triumph without lies conducting to your sides and miles of hives blemish. You're high. It's wild to be white. The Bible is our guide. It presents trial, error, and fright. Some ask God why only some of us survive. You took from the sky and left it deprived. You have no right. You think you're so sly getting by, driving my rides. If you don't got the dollars to holler, you better be squandering at the bottom or some shit. You ain't getting lobster bisque if you ain't mobbing for the tip of my clogged clitoris. You know, it's got 'em all hip. They should be dropping cents into my crotch where my tip cup sits. I ain't got a knob for you to put your lips on, bitch. Do we got a prob? 'Cause you're licking the princess. Don't want that drama. If you're pissed, don't use your list because they won't take you serious. They say leave that ditz in the pits. She ain't coming to grips. Grits for breakfast? I ain't heckling you for your tentacles to stir up any of that horrendous stuff. That shit is mush. That shit ain't plush. Even the mutts won't touch that grub. You fill it with butter and expect something otherworldly, but really you're hurling 'cause it's so fucking bland. It's a waste of cabinet space. Your man don't want to taste that less than rice in your face. Did they make it in a lab? They won't leave a trace when they put it in the trash. It comes in last place. It's a drag. Even laced with jam, they haste to put it past their taste bud glands. Even if you threw me in the slammer, I'd still rather a hamburger. Even though I'd get saggier, and even though the cow's death was sappier than any girl clapping on a perv, they can be raspier, sassier, I still ain't gassing her, sir. I want them nastier and classier, passing the burbs. Fantastically impervious to drastic curb, to flashing certain manlier vermin who are dashing on purpose, maybe demanding and stern, but for damn certain to never clash your service. The trannies are working more than a damsel in distress, lurking for you to pan out their debt in their purses. Spangled is like a trip that fondles my wit, like a bombshell on the grid. In my tonsils it fits. I gotta go live vid, where God's tiptoe to get the hits. Bet my bottom dollar it's my home. Even Da Vinci Code couldn't figure me out, 'cause I'm more than a mold for some clout coming out of someone else's spout. I had about enough of this town, doubting my profound powers. I lounge, I don't cower. If they found me, they just get louder. They don't pound me. They wanna shower me with thousands, not clam chowder. They bring their brown skin, and they consider them flowers. But I'm drowning while they scour me for my discounted hymns. That's why your trouser snake is limp. They scrounge the couch for whatever's lit. Then they hound their followers into a ditch. They're clowning 'cause Bowser is about to come in and denounce these flounders back to their bids. The Twin Towers attacks was a big dig, and our proud nerves now slitted. I want to say wowzers, and we really did it, but all these crowd surfers really limit their browser turns of my shit. I need a stout to drink or the herb before I quit. It just gets lousier as I sit on the bench, and clouds from Mercules gets emitted. Douse him in flirty bees, 'cause he just wants them quick. My nouns and verbs, when they hit the breeze, is magnificent. He makes bounds of chicas spend the digits. It's big business. It's big business hitting littlest. I go frisky on your nuts, as long as that blizzy don't touch anyone in my hizzy. And you know I carry that clutch. Brass knucks. They'll fuck you up. One slug and you're in the mud. Dust for fingerprints. Must my fingers bend around the button? Without gloves, it shouldn't ton. They think they'll pull the plug on what the devil's done, but it was all in fun, and revenge is something that will come to sever your appendages, because we all have regrets, and some of them don't fail the test of time, and regression is a severance for the best of him who gestures you in, not to pester you, but to become within your modest grin. And they're toppling you to win. If you can see it in the distance, then you know you're not overprivileged. You can still worship God and not log into all of his soggy betrayals. One time a doggy railed her sister. Man, that left a blister. And you wish her grimace towards all that God serves didn't feel like winter, and that they could win her over with a glimpse from a kind sir who hints that her dimples sure are simply burning like a log on a campfire. The frog will bend his legs to the choir because he has to dislodge so he can vent in a pile of whatever they sold his gimp ass to acquire. A raw, limp ass for a buyer that saw flaws, 'cause she big snacks, so she's a martyr. They called her clit a sausage and said she had a big back. Now she's a dieter. She still claws into Kit Kats, but she's ain't getting saucier, 'cause she still throws back Big Macs. Shit ain't getting glossier. I'll shiv you for a pig veg. She don't belong in the potty, sir. So give me them McRibs. I'm calling dibs on all that shit. Make the barbecue sauce really fucking hot. Make it spicy, make it grimy. Make it a delight, make it a food fight. Slice her life into little bites. As long as I'm in the mic, she'll think twice about where she takes that hiney. It used to be a device for really people related to the Christ movement, which was as big as life could ever be for mice-driven men trying to ignite a flame just to fight off the fangs of those little dying, crazed rodents who don't know it, but they're frozen for choking on their bones and shit. They weren't chosen. They belong behind the ropes of biz. The door ain't open. We don't condone them. And it's showing. Don't care how potent. Don't want to bring in the lotion unless we eloping. Unless we groping. I'm totally coasting on this ocean. Mist in my broken heart. Finally I start to create an art that won't be picked apart or ripped by darts. When you took a pic of my arse and clipped it to the board, and they tried to hit me with their kicks and their eclipses of the dick. Don't care if you get a rim job from a bitch, you still ain't hitching a ride with this myth. 'Cause you know you catch me grinning to the blimps and the sins that make you cringe, and they act like I don't know it, that they're hoeing and cloning me until my bones itch from their first boat sniff, that clean air that no teen has dared to put in their spleen, and then swear it off to keep your being inflared, because sex to you is the number one impression to dudes that you'll let stew. Everything else includes you belching like a crude lemon head dude with a crevice you want to put pedestal on, and they just wanna put poo because they've been through that netting before, and it's heading toward divorce. You clench your teeth for support, and they bench your team because the moral of the story is to only believe in how far you can reach. And I know you left the beach and came back to know that each is his own, and it's enough to get you in the zone. But I don't think it's very low. It should be known that if you plan to hone the power of someone you don't show up to empower, that you should know that you're a loser and you belong with someone who can prove his worth. Or maybe you'll just poop out what they served and grew up a perv because your poop shoot never got absurd with the nude lube, so they think your girth can still conclude rules about the earth. But they're just rude dudes on one girl. They need glued and strewed across the service of what they thought they could include to the nerds. They wanna act like superheroes, but really they're super zeros. They're dreary holes that just succubus God. I've had enough of this facade. You're fucking monkey aliens in a parade, and it's garbage. I didn't make it here just to be in a garage. You wanna test me? I'm always wrestling for the plot. You know they get the best of me, so they don't rot. If they wanna treasure me, you know that I will take full accountability until they arrive safely where their strides take them in life. All the fakes do is prod. I filled a lake with water to compensate for the fire. I thought I'd rake in fighters to relay my mightiness. Who else drapes them with kindness? I ain't Frankenstein, I'm your royal highness. I ain't waking this time because they want me to touch their privates. That shit's skanky, it don't shine. The limelight meets dusk. I'm not lanky, I'm in my prime. So try us. I wanna be baking on that Pineapple Express. Lately I'm bribing the hussies to take my cake and then line up to take a break of the finest lady you ever slime pussed. You say it's a gravy train, but you're denying trust from all the anuses who claim that you like and would bust a nut. But really I think they're lame and dried up. Your fame be tied up in chains. You think you fly, but I know what's up. I got the wild open range, and you got your fly stuck on your angel hair pasta frame, where they glide books till the Alfredo drain. All the signs of cuffing, 'cause you gave them sausage brains, and all they're reminded of is the slut that changed their fate until she was sublime enough to race for my traits for one of her behind sons, and she left no trace of her rage except for benign toughies who wanna blame her lane and her cranium slain. Kites hug and tug, the serenaded remainder of a live druggie, because they savored the flavor of her nice hugs, and they don't ever blame her. They give her ripe jugs. They called her their savior. They bring brightness to the bugs that once encaved her. Then they salted the slugs. They said they were brave and a cure for her rough shrugs, but they knew she was endangered, and they trudged the crud until she was blank, sir, and she lunged for love. Now she watches her behavior for much adored thugs. They really carried her. They definitely earned her lust. Into her lair she hurried and gave her lush nugs. It really helped her surely. I mustn't cuss. Now I care for her lurking amongst the bugs. They're not sharing her whereabouts. They don't have to front. It's barely daring how most hump the fudge. God don't need clearing out. The Huxtables, Uncrustables were crunched because they think it's hilarity how they're blaring out. What was once accustomed is now charity, becoming a rarity. You mustn't budge until I'm staring down Larry the King. Cable guy or whatever the fuck. He say get her done. I say get her gung-ho off the funds. You know I come for one. You know they haven't shunned me and they're not done creating a conundrum so people stay hung and people go unknown. I just don't know where the drum is coming from that wants to hunt and eat me for lunch. They ain't gonna let you, so I'll bunt your head out into the yard. I won't hit you hard, but it'll be enough to enlarge a bruise on your arse, because you need to be coursed to where people don't force you to give in to the North ideals, uniforms, letting you perform intercourse with a horse as long as it's enforced that you eventually get to hit that entire endorsement. It lets you in its doors. It's gonna take a little more. I don't just let anything happen. You're talking about how you came in dapper and shit, and now you're just flapping your fins. Talking about, I don't know, rejected. Okay, I'll wash them separate. Alright. You had me at pork patty. Saddle my fatty up to the caddy. Blasting irate sins, not tragedies. 'Cause I get saddy when daddy don't wanna give me the diamond ring. I should be signing in bling to anything I want because I rhyme and sing. When these other hoes just climb the rim and slide into your dinner of prime rib and start forking and kniving during our sit-in at a 5-star diner. We arrive so prim and proper. I want to drop it on her head, sock it to her, and mock her. She's hiding in the boys' locker like a stalker. Yeah, her name's Nicki Minaj. Sir, can you stop her? I bet her Glock stirs when she hanging with the mobsters. They're monsters who concur that Robin Words has brought her to dirt. She ain't sloppy, but damn, it must hurt for her to be sucking on my gobstoppers instead of working. I got her on lock if you haven't heard. She around the block if I got her on what she walked for. Hot, I swerve on her engorging my thoughts, 'cause I'm pure. She's such a twat. My pussy purrs, while yours is probably a rock full of splurge. You do squats while I merge into the spot above church. It's called getting that guap for Persian. Rugs to cover what the mop couldn't blur up, no matter how much it was sopped. And with sudsy, it was just not becoming. They bleached it, they treated it with Mr. Clean. And if it didn't seem to really gleam, they hit it again, this time with steam. That did its thing. Even dig jizz with jeans. With human being. DNA secreting. They were still able to leave it beaming. Our golden retriever hates the vacuum cleaner. He couldn't be neater, just so he won't need it. That behemoth that gets the cleaning and wielding fierce winds. He thinks he'll bleed within if it gets stuck to his skin. He better duck and stay hid until you're before your cluck of a chick gets the function and shit. She should adjust her lip, 'cause she's hungover and the spit is dripping. She needs clunked or whipped. Her butt just sits there like, what the fuck is this? She doesn't have enough tits to keep you wondering. You want an abrupt nymph who will cusp your dick and run it till it spits that jungle juice, that jizz, that fungal distribution that you whisk into dough and into babies, row by row. You think you'd stop, but you've got so much to improve on in life. And you know the dykes can't win the trifling battle with a knife. You never see a dyke twice, because sooner or later she bites the grapes and ends up in a grave, because no one will ever eliminate a bitch that wanna lay with a bitch until it becomes something they need to erase, because the girls' faces were trash, not aces. In your hand, displacement of a grand. You know you wanted angels. You got Satan's plan. It is graceless for you to stand up in your basement with these gals. They better go ancient before I get the grams of this ageless acid. When you taste it, your glands send your achiness to basicness, and they slap my ass. They say I'm cranky, but I'm banking, smoking grass. I'm shaking plankton for Mr. Krabs. I'm greatly appreciated by my fans. I know you want to hate it, but I'm so glam. Contemplate your demonstration or go ham. I'm not defacing you, cradle of filth. Cram a 50 in my hand. Don't know what I'm entailing, what I'm facing. I ain't in no mag.